Okay, everyone, welcome back here. I still not 100%, barely 60% fighting this virus here. But that's still, I want to reassure everybody, it's not COVID. I checked, it's just a nasty flu I can't seem to shake. So, but the show must go on, as they say, and I've taken a week off to try and recuperate. But entertainment news doesn't stop, so I have to get back into it. So let's talk Velma, episode 7 and 8. If one thing I could say when it comes to Velma, one very impressive thing about Velma is that it consistently manages to get worse. I don't know, well, no, I do know how. It's just that it consistently manages to get worse. There's no break in between where it might be a little good. No, it just consistently keeps getting worse. So after the mess that was the last episode, we enter into episode 7 now. And Velma is no longer having her hallucinations that were pretty much trying to kill her, right? And she is focusing on her investigation into this serial killer and all this thing, which doesn't make any sense because Velma is not a detective. By now that has been substantially established. She is not a detective. Every so-called clue that she has literally followed has just been people dropping information directly into her lap. She's put nothing together, hasn't sorted out anything. Nothing. All of this happening is just you just see her getting worse. And with this episode, we see it also because Daphne is trying to talk to her about what happened, and she constantly ignoring her, ignoring everybody, just focusing on herself and expecting everybody to do the same. Everybody is supposed to drop whatever they're doing and focus exclusively on what Velma wants, because that is the very nature of this show. We also get to Fred and his nonsense because, of course, they have to find every opportunity to poke fun at the white guy. That's what they love to do in this show. So Fred's parents, well, mostly his mother, who suddenly grew a spine, right? The last few episodes, she was all like telling her husband that, we need to be supportive with Fred and let's try and find out with no, all of a sudden, she goes all alpha female and telling that, they're supposed to be the best and he needs to be the best, so he needs to win some upcoming Crystal Cove fog contest. Apparently there's some weird fog that rolls in over Crystal Cove, and that the fog has some weird supernatural powers where people get transported from one place to the next or switch places. All kind of nonsense, right? So Fred's mother and father tell him that he needs to win Fog King and Queen title, or else he's not going to be allowed back in his house, right? So when Velma decides that, she's going to go to Daphne to tell her about what she needs because, she spent the last however long ignoring Daphne, all of a sudden she goes to Daphne now. Fred comes over and he wants Daphne to go with him so that he can be Fog King and Queen and win, which she agrees to. There's no more curfew because everybody now believes that there's some ghost that's going around killing these girls and removing their brains, and not a serial killer. And police are idiots as usual, but that's about all you get. So everybody plans to go to this Fog Fest, but all the girls need a date to show up at the Fog Fest. Why? I don't know. Once again, Velma has another clue that really dropped in her lap, where she discovers on some note that she found from her mother, Mac Jinkies, she finds a hidden phone number, and the phone number belongs to the serial killer. Now, I'm no serial killer, but I think common sense would be that you don't have your number listed, and you don't have it so people could just call it and you will walk around with your cell phone and thing while you're out there trying to murder people. That just seems sensible to me. maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that just seems like a sensible thing to do. Excuse me. But nonetheless, she calls the serial killer who answers. You understand me? Doesn't say anything. Well, let's pick that as a forward. And she realizes that the serial killer is at Folkfest. And this is where it gets even more stupid. It was already bad. It gets even more stupid. Like I say, it's nothing I think when it comes to the thing that it consistently gets worse. So Velma decides the best and only option is to dress like a man and go in to the Folkfest calling herself Manny. Now, I'm struggling to even call this show a comedy, but in other comedy shows, there have been times where women have had to dress up like men, men have had to dress up like women, you know, but it's always done in line with what the story is, with what's happening. Considering the fact that this entire Velma series has no story whatsoever, but that's just here or there. And it's always funny. It's always in a way that makes you laugh and it's interesting and that's it. None of that happens here. Because apart from the fact that Mindy Kaling and the rest of the Brain Trust went out of their way to make Velma's body type as unattractive as possible, right? Velma literally looks like a man. I mean, seriously, she puts on the suit and hair and a mustache and thing. If you just remove her voice, in fact that they kind of make her lips look like it has lip sync, just remove those two aspects, Velma looks exactly like a middle-aged man going through some kind of midlife crisis. That's it. She looks exactly like that. It's disturbing. And so she goes there dressed as Manny, and for some reason, people are treating her better as a man than they ever did as Velma. And the rest of this god-awful experience is just her and this dotish team and Velma poking fun at how men do this other kind of thing. I mean, you have like literal girls at her school, because keep in mind, they're all like 15, 16 years old. Deeply attracted to her. Even Daphne is attracted to her as Manny. You understand? And you see Velma going through this very dumbass thing possible, insulting women. Going to the bathroom without coming out without washing her hands. You know, when she talks down to people, they like it. She goes for a job interview, or just to put on this, or just scribble on a piece of paper is, I'm qualified, bam, they give it to her. There's even this sick part. Even this really, really sick part, where Velma actually pees standing up. I mean, I don't know how it's possible, but for some reason, they thought this would be funny. It's disturbing and sick. Like pretty much everything else about this god-awful show, that's it. Of course, we can't forget the only two black people that are together because they're black people. You understand me? Worst couple, one of the worst couple I've ever seen, Norval and Gigi. They're just suddenly together like it's supposed to be okay for everybody on the other. So Norval wants to win fucking for him and Gigi, because he clearly has some insecurities about not mattering and all this. It's basically just garbage. There's this part of he and Fred having this little fight, and it doesn't even matter because Gigi doesn't care. I mean, nothing about these people are interesting. That's the thing about it. And we do get into the rest of it now. Daphne is talking to Manny, who's really Velma, and trying to move in on her and all kind of thing, and she's okay with that. When Fred comes out and reveals, because actually Manny and Daphne get crowned fucking and queen, and then Fred comes and reveals to Daphne that Manny is really Velma and rips off the mustache, and apparently it wasn't a fake mustache. Velma actually grew that mustache because if you don't bleach your lip, that happened. I mean, oh god, it's just that stupid. It's really that stupid. Anyway, the serial killer shows up, starts chasing them around. They even have this part, from the classic Scooby-Doo thing where they're running in and out and different doors, and then they have to make fun of that as well. And all of a sudden, the serial killer is about to kill them, but vanishes, but somehow leaves their phone behind, because that's not stupid at all. So Velma comes and gives some crappy apology to Daphne, but that's neither here nor there. But then in the end of it now, while Fred is admiring himself in a funhouse mirror, the serial killer kidnaps him. Big whoop. So we get to the next episode now, and Daphne and Velma want to hack the serial killer's phone. But it turns out that some incident happened where Daphne was literally, obsessed with somebody and ended up hacking their phone, but she won't say who it is, and Velma is, of course, creepy and jealous. What we learn in this episode, there is 3 things happening in this episode very clearly. 1, Velma is a possessive, creepy nutcase. We see that. 2, there's a bunch of flashbacks that just pretty much piss on anything that could have been interesting. And 3, once again, a literal major clue just drops in Velma's lap. No work done whatsoever. So anyway, it turns out that, they find some, and end up hacking in the phone and find some thing with some photo to mount Crystal Woods or something like that. I don't even really care about it. And Velma and Daphne were supposed to go, but then at the last minute, Daphne have a rain check because she want to hang out with her friend Olive to do some photo shoot for Hot Wheels or something like that. So Velma, being the possessive, creepy whack job that she is, fakes having another hallucination in order to lure Daphne along. We're also going to find out that Velma has always been possessive and creepy. I mean, I could have told her from the very beginning. When she first met Daphne as kids, got obsessed with her, started pulling her around everywhere. When Daphne got other friends, she just pulled along Norville. That was it. And she makes no attempt to not apologize for that kind of behavior. She just does it and is perfectly okay with it. But keep in mind, they did rate Norville as the most toxic male for literally nothing, but nobody says anything about the horrible behavior that Velma continues to emulate every day. Speaking of Norville, apparently, so he and Gigi have been together for I don't know, 3 days, and she wants to jump his bones badly. She's giving every hint that she wants to do the dance with no pants with him. I mean, literally, it's been 3 days. Have some shame now, woman. But no, I can't even say woman, girl, because I think they're 15, 16 years old. And then they should just keep over sexualizing them. So they go to, so Gigi thinks that she's setting up for some romantic rendezvous with Norville at her cabin, at her parents' cabin at Mount Crystal Woods. And when Norville shows up with Daphne and Velma, she's pretty much naked and has to cover herself up. Long story short, they end up trapped in this ravine, right? Because, they're all a bunch of idiots. While in there, they keep having these flashbacks to how all of this happened and all of this thing. Basically, the whole thing is just Velma's fault. Before I get more into this, so let me just say, Fred wakes up in this serial killer's lair. And listen to this stupid pattern. The serial killer, now I remember the serial killer cut out the brains of these girls and keeping them in jars, and apparently the brains can talk. Yeah, it's beyond stupid, because I'm telling you, even though I always used to wonder about the so-called villains in Scooby-Doo, the original Scooby-Doo, who used to put on masks and all that kind of thing. I never forgot why they did that. They said that just, embezzling money, something like that. But no, their whole thing with the masks and thing actually seems sensible. This nonsense is just stupid. So anyway, the brains are talking, and Fred, of course, ends up hooking up with all 3 of the brains. Don't ask me how, and it just does. We get to find out now that the person Daphne was obsessed with at one point in time was Gigi. Why? Well, because Well, because they need to make sure that the black people actually have some point of reference in this show, even though it makes no sense. There's never been anything that shows that. There's never anything that would literally, make it seem like that was ever possible, that was ever a thing at all. No. Because as far as I was aware, Daphne was with Fred before, but all of a sudden we're going to find that she was obsessed with Gigi for a little while because they have to keep pushing this weird queer angle that doesn't make any freaking sense. They end up falling through some rock crater and end up down there, and then Gigi tells Norville that he clearly still likes Velma for what reason I don't know. This girl has treated him terribly. But for some, but keep in mind, you have to keep making Norville out to be a cock. That's it. If people want to say beta, you look at the Lord, beta means a cock. That's it. So they end up in leaving. So Tia and Gigi end up leaving and go off. Daphne and Velma go into the caves. They end up finding Fred and their brains. The cave starts to collapse because Fred is an idiot. They try to get out. Velma takes the breath and looks to run. She ends up almost falling to her death, only to be saved by her mother, who just suddenly shows up. Right? Her mother just suddenly shows up out of nowhere. Like I said, all these crews see getting dropped in Velma's lap. Pulls Velma to safety and decides that they're going to get into her mystery jalopy, which is really just the mystery machine, but it's white. That's it. They get in there and they go through this whole crazy escape tunnel thing, driving through all the places collapsing and all of that, when they eventually end up making it out. Oh, well, to forget that Daphne and Velma were talking about finally starting the actual official relationship because at this point someone is supposed to give a shit, but whatever. When they get outside now, right, and Velma is happening there with her mother, she asks her who kidnapped her, who kidnapped her, but her mother can't remember. How very convenient. It's literally doesn't make any kind of sense. I mean, at this point, one would think that probably her mother really is the serial killer, but whatever. It's just ridiculously stupid. There's no point to anything in this show. They don't have any kind of character development. Velma keeps getting worse and worse as a person. All these so-called side characters are just wasted constantly, and there's nothing story-wise going on. Literally nothing. My final rating for episode 7 and 8 of Velma, once again, it gets half a mark out of 5. There's nothing in here to actually make you interested in anything. Just keep pushing the same nonsense all the time. They literally spend the first episode 7 pissing all over men to show some kind of hatred to them. The second episode was just a bunch of weird flashbacks that clearly show that Velma is a possessive, angry whack job who doesn't care about anybody but herself, and nobody calls her on it. But somehow you think people that actually enjoy this show. The only bright side about this is that there's only 2 more episodes left in this first season. That's it. So that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. I'm a different opinion. I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.